Manchester United are in turmoil. Red Circle job cuts, Ineos issues, and Ruben Amorim's season hanging by a thread. Can United salvage their Europa League hopes? And who must start against Arsenal? Let's break it all down. Stay tuned. Man United job cuts cast in damning light as report points to new Ineos problem. Manchester United's decision to make up to another 200 employees redundant is at odds with the rest of Europe's big clubs according to a new UEFA report. The governing body's Club Finance and Investment Landscape Review says that full-time staff at clubs has increased by a third since 2019, with commercial revenues the biggest driving factor. And while United had the highest number of workers, 1,140, among Premier League clubs in 2024, they were fifth in Europe, behind Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Zenit St. Petersburg, and Real Madrid. Brighton and Hove Albion were next on 1,051, with Liverpool and Manchester City among 9 clubs across UEFA to have more than 1,000. Chelsea had 958 as of last year, with Arsenal having 826 and Tottenham Hotspur 820. More than 11,000 were employed across all 20 of last season's Premier League clubs. The number of full-time equivalent FTE employees at top division clubs increased 6% in 2023 to just under 90,000, the report said. A further 6% FTE increase in 2024 means that clubs now have 33% more FTEs than in the pre-pandemic year of 2019. Given that the core activity, number of matches played, did not change between 2019 and 2023, this FTE increase highlights the increasing importance of commercial revenue generation, where servicing partnerships, promoting events, and connecting to supporters is resource-heavy and costly, in direct contrast to TV or UEFA revenue, which require minimal FTEs directly at the clubs. The second factor is the increased investment of clubs in recruitment and technical development. United last month confirmed a fresh round of redundancies, with Chief Executive Omar Barada saying, "We have a responsibility to put Manchester United in the strongest position to win across our men's, women's, and academy teams. We are initiating a wide-ranging series of measures which will transform and renew the club. Unfortunately, this means announcing further potential redundancies, and we deeply regret the impact on those affected colleagues. However, these hard choices are necessary to put the club back on a stable financial footing." Man United head coach Ruben Amorim's miserable first season hinges on Europa League, but sacking is inconceivable. Man United face Real Sociedad in Europa League and Arsenal in Premier League days after losing to Fulham in FA Cup. Feeling of deflation at club, with pressure mounting on European success. Watch Man United vs Arsenal on Sunday, live on Sky Sports. Kickoff 4:30 p.m. Ruben Amorim's first season as Manchester United boss now hinges on Europa League success, but he remains safe in the role, with the sacking inconceivable less than 5 months into his tenure. Amorim inherited a United side that was dwelling in 14th in the Premier League, and the team remains in the same position, having failed to secure victory in 11 of the 16 top-flight games since his appointment. United also dropped out of the Carabao Cup and FA Cup under Amorim and are now tasked with getting back to winning ways against Real Sociedad in the first leg of their knockout tie on Thursday, before hosting Arsenal 3 days later, live on Sky Sports. But doing so, especially with so much pressure and noise surrounding the situation, could be easier said than done. There is great deflation after the FA Cup exit to Fulham. Players hoped the competition could provide a glimmer of joy and purpose to the second half of the campaign, which now hinges on the more daunting prospect of the Europa League. The mood in general has been miserable around the club in light of the staff redundancies that have taken place, the job cuts to come, and the scaling back of pretty much everything that was offered to non-playing employees. The football on show has only exacerbated matters. The only clear directive from now until the end of the season has been surviving the difficult moments, and there has been a framing that United need to get to the summer and reassess from there. But when Sky Sports News asked Amorim if he had been given any guarantees over what he would be able to do in the summer transfer window and the extent of rebuilding that would be possible, he said there was none. The Europa League has taken on sky-high significance for United financially, emotionally, and for offering hope in the current path. Amorim still has to sell his beliefs to the squad, to supporters, and to the hierarchy. It has been noted that, unlike with Erik ten Hag, there has been no public declaration of support for the Portuguese head coach. However, it is inconceivable that United would pull the trigger on a man they forced to join in mid-season. The expectation is that they will have to support him heavily in every way possible, but that is complicated by their profit and sustainability rules situation. There has to be a serious shedding of the squad in the summer for a significant cost, to enable United to make a dent in the mountain of work they need to do. Failure to do so would put them at risk of another season of disappointment, or worse. Ruben Amorim and Paul Scholes agree on Manchester United's best attacker. He must start versus Arsenal. Paul Scholes and Ruben Amorim have agreed on one Manchester United player, who all fans will say must start, when Arsenal visit Old Trafford in the Premier League. Manchester United's Europa League knockout tie with Real Sociedad remains finely balanced after a 1-1 draw in the first leg. Joshua Zirkzee put United ahead in the second half, but Mikel Oyarzabal's penalty ensured the Spanish side drew level. United started on the front foot, dominating possession and dictating the tempo, yet struggled to break down Sociedad's defense. Their first real threat came in the 37th minute when Zirkzee and Bruno Fernandes both had efforts blocked on the line. Sociedad grew into the game before halftime but failed to capitalize on their momentum. United struck first after the break, with Zirkzee finishing off a well-worked move following Alejandro Garnacho's cutback. However, Sociedad were handed a lifeline when Fernandes was penalized for handball, allowing Oyarzabal to equalize from the spot with 20 minutes remaining. Paul Scholes and Ruben Amorim have agreed on one Manchester United player, who all fans will say must start, when Arsenal visit Old Trafford in the Premier League. Manchester United's Europa League knockout tie with Real Sociedad remains finely balanced after a 1-1 draw in the first leg. Joshua Zirkzee put United ahead in the second half, but Mikel Oyarzabal's penalty ensured the Spanish side drew level. United started on the front foot, dominating possession and dictating the tempo, yet struggled to break down Sociedad's defense. Their first real threat came in the 37th minute when Zirkzee and Bruno Fernandes both had efforts blocked on the line. Sociedad grew into the game before halftime but failed to capitalize on their momentum. United struck first after the break, with Zirkzee finishing off a well-worked move following Alejandro Garnacho's cutback. However, Sociedad were handed a lifeline when Fernandes was penalized for handball, allowing Oyarzabal to equalize from the spot with 20 minutes remaining. Amorim responded by introducing Christian Eriksen for Garnacho in search of more control, but it was Sociedad who created the better chances late on. A vital save from Andre Onana in the dying moments ensured the tie remains level heading into the second leg at Old Trafford. Amorim and Scholes agree on Zirkzee. While Zirkzee's goal against Sociedad finally puts him back on the scoresheet, his overall performance was just one of many in the last 6 weeks that have garnered praise from United fans, with many now labeling him as the club's best attacker in the continued absence of Ahmad. Paul Scholes and Ruben Amorim have agreed on one Manchester United player, who all fans will say must start, when Arsenal visit Old Trafford in the Premier League. Manchester United player ratings versus Real Sociedad with 6-7 out of 10s in Europa League draw. Manchester United drew 1-1 with Real Sociedad in the first leg of their round of 16 Europa League tie on Thursday evening. United came closest to opening the scoring in the first half when Bruno Fernandes' effort was blocked on the line, but Ruben Amorim's side did take the lead early in the second half through Joshua Zirkzee. Alejandro Garnacho picked out the Dutchman with an excellent cutback and Zirkzee swept the ball home from the edge of the area. Sociedad were awarded a penalty when Fernandes was adjudged to have handled the ball in the area and Mikel Oyarzabal made it 1-1 from the spot. Here are how the players rated at the Real Arena. Andre Onana. The lack of any intensity in the game afforded Onana more time on the ball. Sociedad's first attempt on target was Mikel Oyarzabal's penalty. Big save in added time. 7. By Taboola-sponsored links. You may like How to Retain and Inspire Top Talent. March 11, 2025, 1-hour live webinar where experts will share proven strategies to retain top talent, improve workplace satisfaction, and build a culture that supports long-term success. Remote Health by Safety Wing. Lenny Yoro did little wrong against a tepid Sociedad attack that was bailed out by a dubious intervention by the video assistant referee. Put off Ori Oskarsson late on. 7. Matthijs de Ligt. Made a key intervention towards the end of the first half and had little hassle from Sociedad until late on when he slipped but recovered to clear a cross. 7. Noussair Mazraoui. Moved back to centre-back and slotted in seamlessly and solidly without having much influence on United's attacking play. 7. Diogo Dalot. Rebuked by Rasmus Højlund for failing to cross, and then he did find Bruno Fernandes for United's first clear chance. Played a part in the goal. 6. Casemiro. Benefited from the absence of any pace in the game and would still cut it in Spain on this evidence. Played the full duration. 7. Bruno Fernandes. Should have scored from Dalot's first half pullback, but his goal-bound shot was blocked. Booked and questionably penalized for the penalty. 6. Patrick Dorgu. Went down injured just before the half-hour mark but soldiered on. Crossed for Alejandro Garnacho to hit the side netting. 6. Alejandro Garnacho. Spearheaded an early breakaway but shot straight at the goalkeeper and hit the side netting when he should have hit the target. Crossed for Joshua Zirkzee to score but ball striking close to goal so infuriating. 6. Joshua Zirkzee. Flicked the ball wide to end the brief goalmouth scramble from Fernandes' shot, and then casually put United 1-0 up early in the second half. 7. Rasmus Højlund. An improvement on recent form and put himself about more than of late. Should have got the ball from Dalot and Dorgu in separate breakaways. 6. Subs. Christian Eriksen. Came on when the pace of the game started to increase. 5. Toby Collier. Made his comeback from injury in the 8th